So I think like Rob and Chris already mentioned, part of our um, part of our site consists of human subject data that cannot be really be displayed or be available for download like we just shown. So the actual files are not presented or being publicly available at the site. So the data sets are available with a menu, with a sort of description of what the data is, but the actual files are not. So all those files are stored in a dedicated server that and we make that data available through a process of requesting that data. So you have to go through a mechanism of requesting, making a data access request, and then that data access request gets accepted by the DAC committee at FaceBase and NIDCR. And then once all that process is complete, we package the data and give you a download location where you can download it and work with the data. So the process consists of a series of steps. So the first one is completing what is called a data use certification agreement that requires some information from your site and your institution, and requires signatures by some officials at your institution from the IT side and from the sort of funding agency parts and grants organizations in your institution. The next step is filling up a data access request, which this is something that is not done. It used to be all done via email with an IDCR, but now we have a system, online system, where you go and fill in all your information online, upload all your necessary documentation, and then submit it for approval. And once it gets approved, you give access to the data. The next step is you have to select which are the data sets that you're actually requesting. Then you will be asked to submit an encryption key so that we can, once we package the data, we encrypt it and we deliver it in an encrypted form. And then you will download the file and decrypt the files into your computer, and that pretty much ends the process. So let me show you now on the site where all that is located. So let me go back to our FaceBase, and then in the top menu we have an item called Data Access, and the second item is called Request Data Access. So here's where we basically have outlined all the process of requesting control data, and it's very well documented step by step, and it has all the steps that you have to go through. So first step is download and complete the data use certificate agreement, then complete the data access request form. This will require to upload some documents, for example, the IRB protocol if you have one, and if it's required by the data sets that you are requesting. Some may require data an IRB protocol, others don't, but most of them do. And that information is given when you go to fill in your form. Then you have to select the requested data sets. Then you have to print this data access request form, sign it by the officials at your institution and yourself, upload that signed version of the data set of the data access request back to the site for approval. Once all is submit all this, the data use certificate agreement and the data access request, and then wait for the notification. When you're notified that your request been approved, will give you the location of where the package data resides, and you will download the data and decrypt it. So all that information, step by step, screenshots are in this page. But let me show you the data access request form. Something that you need to that is required here is that you need to be logged in as a FaceBase user in order to create a new data access request. You cannot really create one if you're not a user. Here I'm seeing some data sets some requests are being already created, and I'm gonna go through the process or show you the steps of creating a new one. So you click create here, and then it's a form that has like 17 different fields. So the first will be the title of the proposed project. Then you will select the principal investigator, and that's basically a person in our data set, in our database. If you are not listed or have never used the system before, then you can go through the process of creating a user, and then you select it. Let's say I select myself. Same thing if you were to have if you're not the actual PI, but you have a mentor or supervisor, you are asked here to select it. Then there's all the fields that are they have the red asterisk, means that they are required, and some are not, but most of them are. Then you have to go through the research use statement, basically the abstract or the description of how you're going to be using the data, what you will be doing with the data, what your project is about. Something that is a more higher level, no technical summary of your proposed research. How is this proposed research consistent with the data use limitations? So each data set, each specific data has a certain limitation on how it's supposed to be used. So you need to explain how that matches that. Then you will be asked to provide some details about the security or how you're going to keep this data secure in your environment. You will have to list all the collaborators. If you have none, then you should probably enter NA. So these are collaborators at your institution and outside your institution. And then there is a section about your IRB. So if you have an IRB, you have to select yes or no. And if it's yes, then you have to enter your IRB protocol number, your expiration date, the FWA, and you have to submit a copy. Here you can upload a file. Here says select file. So you can upload, for example, in PDF, a PDF copy of your IRB approval letter. Same thing for the IRB approved protocol. And then there's this section where you can upload the copy, also probably in PDF. So once you download the data use certification agreement, you will have to have that signed by yourself and the IT person at your institution and the signing authority of your institution for this type of data. And then you'll probably have to do a scan and save that into a PDF and upload that file in here. And then once this you submit all this, the status, the original, the default status in the beginning is marked as in progress. So once you submit that and you go through the selection of the data sets, at the end you have to come back here and upload in here field number 15 an actual signed version of this form with all the required signatures, and that's how the process ends. So let me actually make a test here. Just to give you an example of how to select the files. By the way, this seems to be a little bit complex and involved, but this is actually follows pretty much the same process as requesting data from other sites like dbGaP. So now that I have created this initial part of the data of the form, the next one is selecting the actual data sets that I want to request. So I will start here by link records. Here I will start by filtering my search by looking for protected human subject data. That will make it easier for me to try to find out the data sets that I want to request. So let's say I go through the list of data sets that I want to request. And then I click link here. And then once this data access request is presented, people at NIDCR knows that these are the two data sets that you are interested in, and these are the data use limitation. For example, this first one doesn't have any data use limitation, and the second one is a disease-specific craniofacial research data use limitation. So this is sort of the first part of creating the request. Then the next one is you will be asked to, at the end, to upload a PGP public key so that we can use that key to encrypt your data. So, I think that's what I wanted to show about requesting human subject data. So I don't know if there's any questions. If not, we can probably move to the next section.
I just wanted to make it clear that when you're talking about the encryption key and all that, you supplied the directions on how to do that.
Yeah.
And if anybody's confused about that, you
yes, definitely. Yeah. We actually have in the same in our same documentation page, we have description of how to create a public key.
Okay. Yeah. Great. Okay. Well, this was basically the users track of today's boot camp. So we're about to go into a break, but Marie, I know that you're more interested in submitting data, so that's what we're going to be talking about next. So we're going to take a break. Let me verify how long that break is. I think it's half an hour. So I think, first of all, Marie, did you have anything else that you wanted to go over?
No, it was excellent. I needed this overview. However, getting the data with Alejandro was kind of, presenting. It's not easy. Okay, so I definitely we are interested to retrieve some data for our other research, not cleft lip and palate, but other. But I definitely will need some help with that.
Oh, absolutely.
If you need human subject data?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. We'll help you. We're definitely gonna help you. And it seems it has several steps, but I think it's a.
Well, Alejandro, I think you need really high IT IQ. Okay, for this.
No. It's not. No, it's not really that complex. It's just mostly. It's not really technically challenging. The most difficult part is gathering all the documentation.
Yeah, it's kind of you walk through step by step. So once this is followed, I guess it should be okay, right?
Yes. Yeah. No. There isn't really. Sorry if it was a little bit intimidating from the technical part side, but it's not. The most complex part, I think, the most time-consuming part for the people doing the request is gathering all the data. So you will have to get your IRB documents. You will have to get them signed by people at your institution. So that's really the most time-consuming part. The rest, it's very simple. You just have to fill in that form and copy and paste, and we can help you with. It's really not a technical issue. It looks intimidating, but that's the same procedure that I think that other sites like dbGaP follow. Basically, the amount of data and information that we're requesting is the same.
Okay, thank you.
So honestly, it's more bureaucratic than technical, the complexity.
I think a lot of it is also learning what your institution requires in order to put their signatures on, like which department or which person. So it's good to so you'll need the person to sign for the institute. So you just need to figure out who that is, and then for the IT director, and then and I would suggest finding those people for your institute. And ask and kind of giving them a heads up that this kind of request is coming through, because they might have their own requirements. So that's kind of it's just figuring out what your institution needs.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, and I wanted to mention that. Hold on, if you have 1 second, I will share my screen for a second. Yeah. So, and also. You can either always contact us as help@facebase.org, or you can directly email the data access committee at NIDCR, which is NIDCR FaceBase DAC at mail.nih.gov. So they're actually they know exactly how these requests are done, and any question that you have, you can just directly ask them, and they will help you right away.
Yeah, I can see that Chris sent it as well. And guys, I apologize. I am not on the camera. My camera is not working on this my laptop, which I am with now. Okay.
No problem.
But I'm here.
Okay, great. Well, we really appreciate it.
Okay.
Great. So we're going to take a break for about half an hour.